we have a really exciting call for you tonight, and one that I think you're all going to really enjoy the information from, with Eileen Dirom from Duncan. So Lee is going to be our official interviewer tonight, interviewing Eileen, and even though it says Jackie Boyle under her picture, it's really Lee Rafferty. So welcome, Lee, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Debbie. It's lovely to have the opportunity to join you all on these calls and step in for Jackie today because she couldn't be with us. So today we are going to talk to Eileen, who is going to share her iGalen's story with us. Eileen is one of the original founding members of iGalen distributors, and with her passion and sincerity and commitment, she has managed to achieve Ruby status and then grandfathered into Ruby. And in fact, there have only been 4 weeks in the time that Eileen's been with iGalen that she has not achieved Ruby. So that's undoubtedly due to a lot of hard work and dedication. Well done, Eileen. She has a partner named Dave and 2 lovely children, Abby and Trainer. So let's talk about you for a moment, Eileen. You have a career, I understand, in the health profession. Can you tell us something about that, please?
I do. I've been a nurse. I've just reached my 25th anniversary of being a nurse, and I presently work with Vancouver Island Health Authority here out on Vancouver Island, and I've spent most of my career, pretty much 23 years of it, working as a gerontological specialist.
So how did you discover iGalen, and who sponsored you?
Well, our lovely Jana introduced me to iGalen. And I was able to get some samples of Emulin right away, and I was pretty skeptical, but within 4 days I was sleeping, and I thought, no, I need to give this product and company a chance. Yeah. And I haven't looked back. Great.
So when you joined iGalen and you'd had such a positive experience of the Emulin, did the rest of your family try the products as well?
Well, that was one of the things. As soon as I did more research on the product, I couldn't wait to get my son on the product. And my son has autism, and I knew that it would help him in some way. And my partner Dave, he was put on it right away, even though he wasn't too interested, but he's been on it now for the last year and takes it religiously. And my daughter also takes it, and my mom, and it just keeps expanding in my family. My Auntie Cindy, Lucinda Harlow, who's on the call tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's great to share among the family. So for yourself, in the longer term, what have been the benefits for you with the Emulin and the Climax?
Well, I've been on Emulin now since December 2016, and I had a surgery, it would have been January 2017, and so I'd been on Emulin for about a month at that time and had run out. And it was amazing, and I had a previous surgery a year before, so I knew what the result was going to be in terms of pain. And I had run out, and the first couple of days I was quite panicky, and Jana was able to get more product to me. And I recovered from that surgery in a week and could have gone back to work, but took the second week off, where the previous surgery was 6 weeks of recovery. So it was a substantial change in pain and inflammation, and just in overall well-being. I felt incredibly well. I continued to sleep well. Prior to being on Emulin, I was not a sleeper. I was up at 3 o'clock. I did that awful 3 to 5, God help me, let me go back to sleep thing for years. My son had seizures in his early years, and most of his seizures were nighttime seizures. So I listened in my sleep with one ear open all the time. And that created some terrible sleeping habits, and Emulin helped turn that around for the first time in my life. So I feel rested, brain fog has cleared, and those general aches and pains that you get as you age. I'm 50, I'll be 53 in November, and I feel better than I've ever felt. And I can guarantee you I feel better than I did when I was 30.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So you can age disgracefully.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
And what about your partner, Dave? Have you made any observations about benefits for him?
Well, we were talking about this the other day because this call was coming up, and he has noticed substantial changes. His aches and pains are much better. He has a significant lower back injury, which he's basically bone on bone with osteo, and so that in and of itself is improved. He still has pain with that, but the general aches and pains of getting up in the morning and you're bent over and you can hardly move have improved. His sleep's improved, and with the introduction of Climax back in January, he now has significant hair growth. He was having some bald spots on his head, and he is absolutely floored that the hair has come back. He's a true believer now.
Yes, well, and that's often when people can see things as well. I'm sure plenty of men who'll be envious and wanting the hair growth, and a lot of women too. So what about your children? Shall we start with Abby?
Definitely. I mean, Abby is an iGalen's distributor. Many of our members met her when she was in Vegas with us, and right now she is in Thailand and en route back on Saturday. She has had some significant changes with Emulin in particular. And the challenge, of course, is she's a teenager or 20 years old, and it's hard to get anything into them consistently. But it does help her mood, and she would probably throttle me for saying this, but I have noticed her PMS symptoms have definitely reduced.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm. She's much more pleasurable to be around.
Well, that's positive. And have there been any other benefits to her that you have observed?
I would say that she has significant knee problems, and she's had 3 surgeries on her knee, on both knees. And she complains about pain in her knees, and she'll get inflammation at times, but that is reduced from what it used to be, and the complaints are minimized. And I think she does see the benefits of taking it, and she appreciates when her mom puts it out for her, because that makes it easier.
Well, that's good. It's not so great to think about starting off at 20 with knee problems.
No, she has terrible knees.
Yeah. And what about Trainer?
Trainer's my rock star in terms of a testimony, because he started off from a place where there could be significant changes. He has autism. He has had significant behavioral issues with the autism, to the point where we had to have him not living in the house for a period of time and having him go to different homes 4 nights of the week. And he's now been on Emulin for a year. Probably close to 18 months now, because we started him in December 2016, and he's been on the Climax since January. And the Climax, I think I've noticed the most change. He's gained more words. He is better able to explain himself. And for many of you, that might be hard to understand, but when you have your son sitting next to you and he says to you, "Mommy, how was your day?" And I would answer, and that's a common thing he'd say. And then he would say to me, "And how's Dave's day? And how's his new job?" The fact that he even recognizes that he has a new job and is asking about it is out of this world for me. And the benefit that we saw with Emulin is he is a child that has been a carbaholic. He would seek out carbs. He would eat pasta. If any of you have watched the movie Elf, and Will Ferrell's eating the spaghetti with the syrup on it, that was my son. Absolutely. He will dump a whole bottle of ketchup on his food just to get the sugar and such that he was wanting. Although he still loves ketchup, he's moved away from eating carbs. He will select from food that's offered to him the fresh fruits and vegetables, the salads, and the meats, and leave the carbs behind.
Great.
And everyone is floored by that, and he would not have consciously been able to make that decision. It's an innate choice for him now. And I believe Emulin has helped with that change.
Well, that's great, because ongoing, his health overall is going to be much better as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
When he started the Climax, was that when you noticed the greater changes with communication and other aspects of his autism?
I did. And over the last couple of weeks, it became evident that he was not receiving his Climax as regularly as he should be. The caregivers were mixing it in too much water, and so he was not wanting to drink it for them. And we had significant behavioral changes. And so his mood was less stable. He became angry more easily. He was doing, we call them stink eyes. He looks at people and gives them these stink eyes, and it's a very aggressive move because he's 6'3" and can be quite threatening looking when he does it. And so he is now back on, and he's actually taking 2 doses a day and taking it without difficulty. And we're hoping that we'll see quick improvements, because we did initially see quick improvements with him.
Right.
I don't know if how many of you have ever heard of Kim Barthel, but Kim Barthel is an occupational therapist who wrote a book with Theo Fleury called Conversations with the Rattlesnake. Fabulous book on trauma-informed practice. But Kim was Trainer's occupational therapist while he was growing up. And we had the opportunity for her to come and visit him at Easter, and she was floored by the changes in him. And her comment was, he is comfortable for the first time in his own skin. And I truly feel our products have helped with that.
And that's wonderful, because you observe the changes, but someone who hasn't seen him for a time will see them more dramatically, of course, because they haven't seen the progress. That's wonderful feedback for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so what has that meant for your family overall, the improvement, Trainer?
Well, I mean, hopefully I won't turn to tears on this one, because it's pretty powerful. But considering the fact that my son and my daughter could not be in the same room together for a long period of time, and we're talking a good 5-6 years, and up until this time last year, actually August last year, Trainer and Abby could not spend time together because it would turn to him being aggressive. And she is now one of his caregivers, and he is living in a trailer with my niece, who also has autism, and she is able to go into that trailer, and they have an amazing relationship, which is makes any mother extremely proud.
Yeah.
And I think she sees the improvement in him and his ability to now understand things better, and I believe that our products again have helped with that.
Great. And it must be lovely to see the 2 children being able to share their life.
Yeah, it's magical.
Yeah, I'm sure it must
That gives me goosebumps, Eileen. That's just the most heartwarming thing that you just said right there. Just that ability to get along with the people you're supposed to get along with is just amazing. I saw his run in the train. He looked pretty happy.
Yeah.
So is there anything else about your family that you'd like to share with us at this stage, other members of your family?
Well, I have my mom on the product, and she was not a believer until she went and got her blood work done and saw that her cholesterol had actually been reduced with being just on the Emulin. I would like to get her on the Climax, but Cindy and I are working on that, because she's reluctant, and she does need to go for a shoulder surgery. So Brian, I might have you speak to her. I've had a couple brothers that have also taken the product. One who had significant foot issues, and he noticed that when he was on the Emulin, his foot, he had like a bone spur that was coming out of the bottom of his foot from a hockey accident many years ago, and he said that had significantly reduced in discomfort. And my other brother has lots of swelling in his lower legs. He's had several rugby injuries, and he has a blood disorder. And I can't remember the name of it right now, but it causes edema in his lower legs. And he found that definitely reduced with being on the Emulin.
Excellent. And I think, certainly speaking for myself, and I'm sure for everyone who's involved with iGalen, it's such a joy, isn't it, to see people overcoming these problems, often long term. I had someone tell me recently she had been in chronic pain for many years, and she on her own decision, she said to me, I've ditched all my meds, and she had a lot. And 4 days later on Emulin, her pain was reducing and she had lost 2 kilos. And I saw her last week. She gave me a great big hug and she said, what I would have liked to have done is taken all those tablets and tipped them over the head of my former doctor. So it's great to see people feeling well and being more active as well, which is so important.
Well, I think that's the thing that I've noticed with the Climax, and I forgot to mention, is that I now physically feel when I get home from work that I can work out and not have the pain the following day of not being able to, sit down or get up from my chair. It's totally changed my recovery.
Yes, it would seem that we don't need much else.
No.
A bit of exercise, some water, and iGalen.
That's right.
Yes. In the future, do you have any plans or thoughts about how you might be able to change your position and your opportunity to extend the information to people?
I do. I think about this all the time. I am so interested in brain health and prevention moving forward. After working with so many individuals over the years with end-stage Alzheimer's, I would like to start working with people before they get to that state. And I think iGalen gives me that opportunity to share the product and talk about inflammation and diabetes, number 3, being Alzheimer's and diet and expanding on all of those levels. I have a passion to work with seniors, and I have a passion to work with the autism community. And just say to people, try it. You're not going to lose out on trying it. It's not going to interact with anything else. If anything, you're going to feel better, and you can cut back on some of the other products that you're taking that may be causing you to take another medication.
Yes. Do you find much resistance from people due to the fact that the products are not medicinal in the sense that they're prescription medications, that they're natural?
Yeah, I do see some resistance there. It's easier to take a pill from a doctor than it is to try something naturally, but I see a shift that's happening. And for the first time in my career with working with the psychiatrists I work with, they were talking about neuroplasticity today with one of my clients, and diet, and the importance of pushing back. And usually it's like, they're saying you have dementia and this is the prognosis. And so it was the first time I'm working with said, push back. This is what you can do. And so that to me was really enlightening. And we had an in-service a couple weeks back, and it was a dietitian came in and talked about foods that reduce inflammation within the body. And I was blown away. The room was full of people. So people are ready to hear alternatives.
Yes, indeed. Now, the leadership in this company, from Mr. Chan Heng Fai, Dr. Rajen, Drs. Arens and Scolio, and also Costagara, can you give us your thoughts about the leadership of the company?
I just love our leadership. When I met Mr. Chan Heng Fai in Vegas, he is just the most amazing, kind man. And when I saw the the video clip that they did of him with his grandchildren, I was like, I want him to be my grandpa. He was just so phenomenal and so warm-hearted. And before I left Vegas, he said to me, and like he shook my hand and he looked me in the eye and he said, if there's ever anything you need, let me know. And then, you know, when you talk about Dr. Jan, like, that man is the salt of the earth. And Jana told me that when she first met him, what an impression he had made for her. I was blown away, because when I first met him, I was expecting a shorter man, to be honest. But he just has a presence about him that is unbelievable. And his philosophy just fits so near and dear to my heart about helping people be better, helping others, and just, if I send him a message, I have a response that is so quick and helpful, and he's just endearing. He's an amazing man.
But there was a question from Bev Ellis. She says, I'm wondering if it was the too much water in the glass that would be the reason that Trainer wouldn't drink the Climax. I think you alluded to that.
Yes, absolutely. He takes it in a shot glass, no problem.
Oh, and so fairly strong.
Yeah, he'll do his little shake, like, ooh. but then he'll drink a glass of water afterwards. But I think with taking the Emulin, he finds, what I'm thinking is he finds it too sweet. Okay. The Climax. So, and he used to like sweet things, but
yeah, I was just going to say, isn't that interesting that he was really craving sweets before, and then so that's really changed his palate.
I think the other thing that we've noticed too, and I talked to Dr. Ahrens about this on the doctor's call. We increased my son's Emulin to 3 a day, and then he's on the Climax, and he's had incredible acne over the years, and his acne is actually clearing up quite substantially with these products. And I almost to the point of posting a picture. You know, I have to do it carefully for him, but I think it would be worth people seeing the change that's happened. And Dr. Ahrens also talked about the benefits of taking the extra Emulin in regards to how you react to the sun. And over the last while, I've been out in the sun a fair bit. I have looked like I've had a burn, but I have not been burnt, and it's turned to a tan quite quickly. And he explained that as with the extra Emulin in your body, you have, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Ron, it reduces the hydrogen peroxide that is formed on the skin, thereby reducing the pain that you would get from the sunburn. And and besides that, no peeling. I was shocked because I was sure I was going to peel after that sunburn, and had no pain that night and no peeling afterwards.
And Dr. Ahrens has always said, you know, you can't really take too much. If you take too much, it either goes to the skin or goes into the urine. So if it's going to the skin, it's protective of the skin and giving people some changes in their, you know, in their texture of their skin as well. So yeah, it's not like you can really overdose on it, and if you do, you just get more benefits. So, but I would just take a second here. I'd love to just thank you so much, Eileen, for such an inspiring story. I'll turn that back over to you, Lee, and have you close the call.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you so much, Eileen, for sharing your story, the heartwarming results of these products for your own family, especially for Trainer. It's wonderful to hear. Well done.